Welcome back, everyone. There's been a lot of buzz this week about some 800 part-time fast food jobs. In fact, more than 15,000 people apparently applied for them. But is that really a good thing for Arizona's economy? With us now to talk a little bit more about this is Michael Hayes, and he is the owner of Momentum Specialized Staffing. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
You hear jobs, period, and you think, oh, that's a good thing, but you have some concerns over part-time jobs. Why is that?
Well, I think part-time jobs are traditionally a way to transition into a more higher paying job for high school kids, people that were temporarily out of work between jobs, maybe as a second job. Now part-time jobs are becoming the main primary job of somebody in the home. And I don't think that's necessarily a good thing.
A job seeker is basically throwing in the towel at this time to find full-time work. Is it that hard to find full-time work right now that they have to resource themselves to these part-time jobs?
Absolutely, and you're looking at 15,000 people filling out applications online for those jobs versus they only have 800. So that tells you the kind of desperation. We see people every day that are just thrown in the towel as far as how they prepare for an interview or how they even come in to look for a job. It's been depressing.
And the people who you normally saw as the transition folks, you said like high schoolers or folks who are just trying to get back on their feet until they find that full-time job, that's not the case anymore for a part-time workers. For a lot of people, this is their main means, unfortunately.
Right, the part-time workforce has turned into somebody that's, mid-40s that came out of a mid-management job or maybe was a construction worker making 18 or 20 bucks an hour. Now they're having to go back into something that's paying minimum wage.
And if folks are forced to take a part-time job, I think a lot of folks will hold out onto hope saying, oh, maybe this will develop into a full-time job. What are the chances of that happening when you're in a part-time position?
In those type of areas, probably not. I mean, they can get away with part-time work. The problem comes to fruition when you look at what happens when you emphasize these small area jobs. You don't have people that are paying a lot generally in income taxes. They're generally being on some type of government assistance. They don't have money to buy a home. They don't have extra money to go spend in the economy. So I'm saying if our job growth focus is going to be part-time and low-wage jobs, we're going to be in trouble.
Now, you say that in your staffing company, you have about 100 applicants for each job opening out there. What's your suggestion to folks who really want to market themselves for a full-time job rather than a part-time job?
Well, number one right now is don't take your baggage into interviews. Don't use interviews to vent on how the world stinks and you've been taken advantage of.
And you've probably seen this, right?
And your last boss is a jerk. That is not going to help you. You need to leave that stuff at the door. You need to make sure you have a networking area of people that you know, whether they were customers, vendors, friends. Make sure they know you're looking, and you also need to try to be positive, not just send resumes out from your home computer every night thinking that's looking for a job.
And if folks are sitting at home saying, do I go a staffing position, a staffing company, or am I better just going through the internet looking for jobs that way? Right now, a lot of people, that's how they find their jobs, whether it's through the paper or, the old-fashioned way, or looking online through all the websites.
If you can get a face-to-face interview with anybody, including somebody in a staffing company, remember, they get paid by a company to place you. You should take advantage of it. Practice makes perfect as far as interviewing goes. And probably the biggest problem I see with people is they don't know how to interview correctly.
I can see that happening. People get nervous too. And then I guess you're right, the more you do it, the more better you be prepared to get that right job as well. What needs to happen in your view, working in the staffing business, to get quality jobs back out there for Arizonans?
Well, first of all, if you look at why you're not getting job growth is you're not getting any money. There's no credit. Businesses can't do anything because they can't get a loan. I mean, you have better luck finding a 4-leaf clover in a tumbleweed farm right now than getting a loan. So you're not going to, until we unfreeze the credit markets so it can be a little bit easier to get credit, we're not going to see any changes.
You're not going to see any movement. All right. Thank you so much for joining us, Michael Hayes. We appreciate it, giving us a perspective on the job growth here in the Valley. Coming up next, we've got a chocolate